We just played against each other last week, and I told Chris about it. That's why I'm freaking out.
I was wondering where the connection came in, because they asked me a couple days ago to come on for whatever reason, but I didn't know the historical significance of it.
Yeah, the historical significance is when I was like an 8-year-old kid, my password to everything was Longoria 3, and I watched every single Tampa game, even though I was a Yankees fan growing up.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 191 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media. And if you've been following along in class, you can see our favorite Kansas City Royals back. Vinnie Pasquantino, who is donning, show off your shirt. Go ahead.
Yep, here it is. Chris Rose Sports right there. We're locked in.
Now, will you wear that into the clubhouse today?
I will not. I already have the outfit picked out. I'm not wearing this into the club. It doesn't match my pants, so I can't wear it. It's navy blue. I'm wearing green pants.
Well, can't you pick different colored pants?
You know what? I will wear it into the clubhouse today. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'll wear it in. There we go.
And how about take a picture with some teammates who might love Chris Rose Sports and the Chris Rose Rotation and your appearances on them?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of them listen because, you know, as baseball players, we don't like to consume as much baseball during the season. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll play it by ear as I get into the clubhouse today.
We should have a listening party, though, in Kansas City, because I think that's what would get you guys pointed in the right direction as a team, is if we all listen to Vinny's episode together.
Yeah, if that's what it takes, we'll make that happen. If that's what the answer is, we're going to make that happen.
We are taping this on a Tuesday. You had an off day on Monday, but it was a very, very big day for you and your soon-to-be bride, was it not?
It was. We and officially, as of this morning, we told them we're in. We are buying a house in Nashville. So
yes.
So we're pumped about that. We're excited. There's still like a bunch of red tape to get through, but we'll see what happens. The inspection's got to happen, everything. So we'll see, but we're excited about it.
So is this your first house purchase?
First house purchase. We're pumped about it.
It's a different world, brother. I'm telling you, it is welcome to the world of mortgage.
Yep, that's right. We're yeah, we're excited.
But don't worry, your mortgage should be fine because the bank system in the country is going great.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Well, what I learned too is as a baseball player, you have to buy in the summer, or else the banks don't think you have a job in the winter. So you got to make sure you do it while you're getting paid, or else it will. It's tough to swing them that you have a job.
That's right. You guys only get paid during the season, don't you?
Yeah. So from October to February, nobody thinks that we work. So you got to make sure that you prove to them that you do work, so then you can make big purchases like a house.
So here's the key, though. This is nice because you haven't, you're just at the beginning of your career, so you're making a major league minimum, which is still a very nice chunk of change compared to everybody else out there, and you understand that. But what it does teach you is how to budget.
Yep, that's right. You have to. That's what and it's even better now because they're getting paid more. But in the minor leagues, like, you really got to learn how to budget, especially if you don't get a massive signing bonus. So yeah, we're excited to move from our 600 square foot house that we've lived in the past 2 years to a little bit bigger of a home where we'll have a stove. So we're really excited to maybe cook a little bit this off season. We're pumped about it.
What was your signing bonus?
It was 125. So solid.
What round?
Like 11th round. The maximum without them going over the penalty or whatever and having to pay extra fees or whatever for going over that number. So I got the maximum I was allowed to get, and then I, for 2019 to 2022, like, that's what helped me survive. So thankful for that.
Okay. Keep climbing that ladder, bro.
That's
Can't
right.
wait to see what that first big deal looks like, if you know what I mean. We've got a lot of ground to cover with you. Your beloved New York Jets. We've got Pasquatch we have to talk about. All of that. But I want to start with your recent road trip out in Arizona, where I believe you told us on this show that Evan Longoria was your dude growing up, right?
Yeah, favorite player. Like, I still remember exactly where I was when he hit that homer to take the Rays to the playoffs. So yeah, it was really cool to play against him. We talked a little bit, which was really cool. Like just one of those like surreal moments of playing the game when you get to play against somebody you grew up just idolizing.
But do you want to share with everybody what you texted me after game 1 of the series?
Yeah, I didn't say anything to him really. Just a hello. That was it. Too nervous. Didn't want to make a fool of myself. So I kept it cool.
Yeah. What is it? Is that your first like wow moment on the field where you're on the same baseball diamond essentially as the guy you wanted to be?
Yeah, that was probably the real first one. I mean, seeing guys last year, like being in Detroit, seeing Miggy play was really special. But for me, like just knowing that here's a guy that I like grew up, just everything he did, I paid attention to. That was pretty cool to watch him play while being on the same field.
So were you like number 3 growing up? How big
Yep.
was your fandom with Evan Longoria?
Yeah, let's just say, and don't try to get into any of my accounts because these aren't they're not my password anymore, but a password of mine that I used to use was just straight up Longoria 3. So yeah, but again, it's not a password of mine anymore. I've said that publicly before, so please don't try to get into my accounts. You're not going to get in. That's not the password.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think it's Evan Longoria's password either. That'd be a little weird if it was Longoria 3.
Yeah, because right, like mine's not Pasquantino 9. So yeah,
that's okay. Hey, by the way, if it is, it's fine because nobody can fucking spell your last name. So you're safe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're good. So when you go to these new ballparks that you haven't had a chance to play in, is it like being a brand new major leaguer every time you do something like that?
Yeah, typically I'll take pictures. I go to the dugouts, like the first thing I do, and I just take kind of panoramic photos of the stadium and send it to my family and friends of just because they think it's cool. So I think it's cool too. And then I like to take BP on a new field. Normally I don't take BP on the field, but at new stadiums I do just to get like sight lines and everything like that. And it's not even close to the same thing, but now as hitters and pitchers, you're kind of like quarterbacks where you have to find the clock. So like it's good to step in the box to find where the pitch clocks are, so then you know where you need to look. So when you get in the box at specific times. But yeah, it's going to new ballparks is really cool. Pulling up the stadiums is always something that's really special.
So wait, have you conferred with Patrick Mahomes on how he finds the clock and stuff like that? Since you guys are in the same city and you work like 1,000 yards from one another, and oh yeah, by the way, he is part owner of the Royals.
Yeah, no, haven't gotten to him on that. To be honest, I'm a little bit more worried about another quarterback at this current moment of my life.
We'll get to him shortly.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It was so funny. You're so cute. You texted me. You go, hey, next time I'm on, can we spend a lot of time talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets? Yep. By the way, was I the first one to break that news to you that it finally happened?
I think you were. I got on the bus. So for some reason in Arizona, I get no cell signal. So the story's going off already, but like, I don't know what it is. In Arizona, I get no cell signal. So spring training, if people call me, I don't get the text. So as soon as I got out of the hotel, I get on the bus and I get a notification from Schefter, like tweeting. And then you texted me immediately, but it said like 8 minutes ago. So I think you were the first person to break the news to me. Mm-hmm. And it was great news to have been broken because I could not be happier. Jersey's already ordered, had to customize one to make sure I got it. And we're fired up about it.
Okay, tell everybody how big a fan you are. Where did you want them to send your jersey to?
I wanted them to send the jersey to the Minnesota Visitors Clubhouse, so I made sure I got it immediately. So I didn't have Minnesota has some of my favorite, probably my favorite visiting clubhouse staff. They're great. Marcus and those guys do a fantastic job. But I didn't have Marcus's number, so I went back on my Venmo. So when I had like seen them last in like last season, and I went under a transaction and I messaged him and I said, hey, what's the address to the Visitors Clubhouse? I'm ordering an Aaron Rodgers jersey. And he got back to me right away. So I ended up trying to order it there, but it didn't work. So now it's on its way to Kansas City.
How excited are you to put that jersey on?
Oh, man, I'm just so excited that when I'm watching the games, when he drops back, that I'm not going to be fully panicked that an interception's about to be thrown. And I've never really had that before, because even when the Jets had Brett Favre, like, the guy threw interceptions, it's fine. But, he was known to launch a few balls. But Aaron Rodgers is not known for that. He's known for not throwing interceptions, which I'm very excited about. Just like, my stress is down. My excitement is somehow more up than it normally is. And it's just a good time to be alive for a Jets fan right now.
Are you going to keep or get rid of your Zach Wilson jersey?
I'm going to keep it, because apparently he's still the future. So Aaron Rodgers is going to teach him everything he knows these next year, 2 years. And then Zach Wilson becomes Aaron Rodgers, I think, is how the story is supposed to go.
Did you just say that with a straight face?
I tried to, yeah.
Do you believe it?
Yes.
Look at you. I wish you could look at yourself right now and just think, because there's no way you believe it. You're like, oh my God, it's a coin flip at best.
A coin flip's all we need, half the time it's heads, half the time it's tails. So one of those is good, one of them's bad.
Have you digested the Jets? I mean, the schedule doesn't come out for another couple weeks, so we don't have dates attached to it yet. But assuming the Royals are free come October, are you going to try and make as many Jets games as possible now?
Yeah, so I have my season tickets. So all the home games are locked in, other than the ones I won't be able to go to, because we'll still be playing. And the plan is still have an October run. I don't care what the record says. It's May 2nd. So I'm not counting us out by any stretch. So yeah, I kind of have looked at what the schedule could potentially be, and I'm going to be at quite a few games this year, and I'm pumped about it. So the rumor now is that it's going to be Jets Cowboys Sunday Night Football to start the season. I know the date of that game. Technically speaking, it would be possible for me to make it to that game because of off days and such. So we'll see. I probably won't be there because, the focus is 100% here. It's never not 100% here. But if I have an opportunity to make it to things, I try to make it to things. So we're going to see what happens.
Okay. Well, you can say all of that sort of stuff. For me, I don't have to as much. So I'm looking at the schedule. I believe the season would probably kick off on Sunday, September 10th. That's what I'm guessing here. Okay.
Well, it'll really kick off the Thursday.
No. But I'm saying if they play Sunday night,
right.
Thursday's usually saved for the champs. And I don't know if you heard, but the Jets
they did not win. Yeah.
Right. So we'll save that for the team that actually plays right across the street from you guys. By the way, you guys have a day game on Thursday, September 7th. So you could go to the night game. Oh, no, you can't. You guys got to fly. Sorry. Anyway, you will be in Toronto on Sunday the 10th, which is very close to New York City.
Yeah, but the problem is so this is if the Jets are somehow at home on that Sunday night. Yeah, like it's pretty close to Toronto. It's a quick flight away, but we'll see. I'm worried about the Blue Jays that day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, once again, you can worry about whomever you want to.
Uh-huh.
I am trying to get your ass to the Jets-Cowboys game that hasn't even been scheduled yet.
When it comes to that day, we're on to Toronto, if you know what I'm saying.
But I am not.
Yes, but I am.
I will be in Los Angeles getting ready to talk about the possible fictitious Jets-Cowboys game, which has yet to be played.
Right. Correct, yes.
And worst comes to worst, if you have to go to Chicago for your game.
Which I do, and I'm glad to be there.
So, yep. All right. I like all this.
Yeah.
Is it Super Bowl or bust?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With the defense that they have and now having a quarterback, it kind of has to be, which is exciting. You go from haven't made the playoffs in 11 years, still haven't made the playoffs, to you at least got to get to the AFC Championship game, I'd imagine.
Okay.
And they have a tough schedule this year too, which is like kind of nice because if they can run through the schedule pretty well, then it sets them up good for the playoffs. Like you got the Chiefs, you got the Cowboys, you got the Chargers. The whole AFC East is pretty solid. Pretty good schedule.
The Browns.
They do play the Browns, yes.
Why are you laughing?
Because for the first time in a long time, I can say that the Jets are going to be supposed to winning that game.
True.
So that's
True.
exciting. Like, there hasn't been too many games in my lifetime that the Jets are supposed to win.
Yeah. It's interesting. Didn't you hear Giannis's soundbite last week after they lost to the Heat, where he said, you know, somebody asked him, as a 1 seed losing to an 8 seed, is the season a failure? And apparently it was the second straight year that that guy asked him, that reporter asked him, which I think is a fair question when you're the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So would the Jets season without a Super Bowl be a failure?
Well, if I'm using like Giannis's ideology, then no, it would not be a failure. But as a diehard fan, yes, it would be a failure.
Lots of baseball ahead, and I got a question for you. Are you ready to dominate at the plate this season? Because Blast Baseball is the #1 hitting improvement solution. The Blast Baseball swing trainers and swing analyzers attached to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with each and every swing. It automatically sends swing metrics to a smartphone app and generate insights that allow you to analyze and improve your hitting. You visualize your swing with a 3D swing tracer, compare swings with smart video capture technology, understand cause and effect with blast hitting insights, and learn from exclusive training videos as well. It's all about the numbers these days, and metrics are automatically sent to a smartphone app. They generate insights that allow you to analyze and improve your hitting like never before. So no matter the weather, the location, the season, the equipment, with Blast Baseball, you can train all year long, regardless of the conditions, anywhere, anytime, outdoors, indoors. And with all new Air Swings feature, you can even train without a ball. That's pretty cool. So head on over to blastmotion.com. That is blastmotion.com. Enter the code ROSE to check out and save $10 on Blast Baseball personal swing trainers and swing analyzers. Go fix that swing today. Why don't you split the baby here? You're a professional athlete. Like, if the Kansas City Royals don't win the World Series this year, is that a failure? Is that fair to put on you?
I mean, technically speaking, yes, it is a failure because, like, the goal is to win the World Series, but also, like, that's very hard to do. So, like, you can split it both ways. Like, objectively speaking, yes, it is a failure if you don't win at all because you lost your last game of the season, therefore you failed. But, like, subjectively, every team is going through different things. So, like, yes, the Bucks should have won that series, but they also had a ton of things going on within that series that led them to not win it, with injuries and different things like that. So everything is very subjective in nature when it comes to that. But objectively speaking, they were the 1 seed. They should have come out of, you know, the East, and they did not. So it is a failure, but at the same time, you see what he's saying.
I loved the discussion. I thought it was a really, really good discussion, because whether you agreed with Giannis's take or the reporter's question, I think it made us all think about what is success in pro sports. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be one team out of 30. Nobody, in fairness, Vinny, nobody is picking the Kansas City Royals to win this thing this year, right? So the expectation levels are different between you and the Astros and the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets and the Braves and all those teams that we do expect to win it all. And so at the end of the day, it's just not a strange balance, but it's one you've got to wrestle with, I suppose.
Well, it's interesting because, like, for us, like, we've heard things about, like, I'm talking about the Royals, where, you know, people are looking for signs of development with the Royals. That's what people are looking for right now. If I'm going to freak out, I'm going to freak out because I know what you're doing. You've done this to me before, and I know what you're doing now. And for anybody who's not watching this on Zoom, you have no idea what's going on. But there he is. He's right there. That's Evan Longoria on the Zoom right now.
What up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
It's good, brother. Good.
Why you Thank you very much.
What's up, Chris?
Vinny, tell him why you're freaking out.
No, I'm freaking out because you were my favorite player growing up. We just played against each other last week, and I told Chris about it. That's why I'm freaking out.
I was wondering where the connection came in, because they asked me a couple days ago to come on for whatever reason, but I didn't know the historical significance of it.
Yeah, the historical significance is when I was like an 8-year-old kid, my password to everything was Longoria 3, and I watched every single Tampa game, even though I was a Yankees fan growing up.
Oh man, well I appreciate that. It was fun playing against you, man. You killed us. You raked us.
Yeah, thanks. But you guys won 2-1, so who really cares, But it was an honor. I didn't talk to you all that much out of pure just respect, almost, just because I didn't want to be that guy. So, but yeah, kind of thank you. I think thank you for making my childhood more enjoyable watching baseball.
It probably wasn't that enjoyable. I had some pretty good success against the Yankees, so I guess if you were rooting for me, you were probably rooting against the Yankees at some point.
Yeah, but that's all right. I just enjoy the game. So,
right on, man.
Hey, Longo,
Rosie, what do you got?
Curious. So I remember talking to you when you were just a pup in this game, and you had a ton of success right out of the gate, which was awesome. But now that you're in your mid-30s and you're hearing guys that are like, dude, I wanted to be you.
Yeah.
Is it how does that sit with you?
I mean, dude, I'm honored. I'm honored, to be honest with you. I don't take it in any kind of bad way. Like obviously when I started playing, like I did the same thing with guys like Derek Jeter and playing against Jason Giambi with the Yankees at the time, and Jason Varitek with the Red Sox. These guys that I grew up watching and playing against, Kevin Youkilis. And so I kind of felt the same way, back then. And so I always figured if I played long enough that, which was my goal, that at some point, I mean, dude, I just looked up Vinnie, he's 25 and I've got 3, I think 22, 23-year-olds on my team right now. So, these guys might've been in diapers when I made it in the big leagues.
So would you for guys that are listening to the show, I told Vinny before the series against the Diamondbacks, I said, you have got to go talk to him. And then he texted me the first night. He goes, I couldn't fanboy Longoria. I just couldn't. For guys that are young in this league and might be listening, don't you think they should go up to guys like you or guys that they wanted to be and say, hey, listen, man, thank you for bringing me some joy in my childhood? Because I imagine what a thrill it is for you.
Yeah, for sure. I did the same thing, I was a little bit, you just don't know what to say. Like I always I don't want to come off like I'm this weird fan kid that's finally made it and all of a sudden starstruck. And so it is a weird dynamic because, I always wanted to say something. But I mean, I don't think that any veteran player who's had an impact on a young player's career, you don't take it in any kind of weird way. I think it's all respect. I think, there's a part of me that is thankful that I was able to watch those guys growing up because they are the ones that inspired me to get to the big leagues.
Vinny,
I also
the floor
think
is yours, man.
Well, I think, and because it's all respect, but then it's also respectfully, I'm trying to kick your ass, in
100%.
in a different way. So it's I don't want to be I don't want to come on too strong, so to speak. And then it's no, I'm still rooting for my team here.
No, I mean, I think there's always that understanding for sure. It's one thing before the game or even, you get to first base, you say what's up, but I'm still going to try and turn double play on you. I think if I was a pitcher, I'm still going to strike you out. There's no, I don't think that it doesn't have to get in the way of that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But thanks again to you, just because I don't know, this is cool. 1, playing the major leagues is cool. 2, meeting your idols is cool. This is just Chris, you do it to me again. Come on. Nicky Cass the first time. Now we've got Longo on here. This is insane.
Yeah. Me and Nicky Cass, we're in the same category.
Well, that different connotation there, but hey, whatever.
No, hey, look, man, I agree. The guy's done really well for himself. I love watching his stuff too.
Yeah, hey, Nicky Cass, he only has 334 fewer homers than Longo in the show.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Hey, Longo, before we let you go, and we really appreciate you dropping by, did you see your boy Plouffe? Now, let's remember, he has 106 show homers in his 9 years in the bigs. We just put out the latest edition of Blitzball Battle 3. And in game number 2 of the season, Robbie Scirocco, if we can get that piece of video up, this is how he won the game the other day. And watch his reaction.
He's done it. Oh, my God. He's fucking done it again. Are you kidding me? I fucking sleep here. I fucking sleep here. It's my fucking house. I sleep here.
When I saw that, all I could envision was wishing that Plouffe would have done that when he hit a home run in the big leagues, like, you know, running around the bases saying, "This is my fucking house. I sleep here." Oh my God.
Longo, when are we going to get you to the warehouse?
Dude, I would love to come. I'm not turning down that invitation. Where is it? New York?
It's in Jersey City, New Jersey. We don't give out directions to too many people because you know.
You don't want people showing up and, you know, fanboying like me and what I would do to Trevor.
I don't know when Blitzball happens, but I just formed a 2-team here. Yeah. Us two. We can play on the same team. And just,
100%.
Yeah.
This guy rakes, man. I'll take this guy on my team any day.
Okay. But there is one other thing. I have to ask you about the Zac Gallen pitch. First of all, Vin, we got to ask you, and then Longo, you know, you've seen a gazillion pitches at the major league level. But Vinny, do you now know what sort of pitch this was?
Just kind of from seeing everything, I guess he was trying to throw a changeup and he accidentally put too much of his ring finger on it and he cut it. Because I remember when I swung, I hadn't seen the cutter yet that day, but when it came out of the hand, I thought it was a changeup. So I was prepared for it to go down and away. And then it started going back the other way. So I almost tried to get out of the way of the pitch. And then it was just a wiffle ball. And I looked back to the dugout and I just said, "What do you guys got?" And they looked back at me like, I have no idea.
And then the catcher just whiffed it and smoked the umpire. I think it was a changeup. That he just got out of his hand weird.
It was unbelievable. Like, I don't know what a blitz ball looks like, but I'd have to imagine like that's pretty similar to the movement of one of those things.
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe you guys won't be the favorite after all if that's your Blitzball Battle swing.
We'll figure it out. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. We'll figure it out.
Longo, we appreciate you dropping by, man. Best your family. You haven't added any more kids. It's still just 3, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, she's almost 2 now. So yeah, we got 3 and it's wild and everybody's good. Thanks for asking.
All right, good. That's the most important. Anybody playing like Little League or the sports and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, my son plays basketball and my daughter is playing volleyball right now. So no baseball, but that's okay. I'm not forcing them to do anything, you know, whatever they want to do, I'm supportive of.
Okay. What was your second best sport, by the way?
Probably basketball. I was just too short.
Come on. You were a good defender. I bet you were a great
defender. Let's see. Too short for, you know, high aspirations. I knew my limits.
Okay. I got it. Longo, it's great seeing you as always. Continued success down there in Arizona, man. It's been a real fun team to watch so far, and we will catch up at some point later in the season. Vinny, you want to say goodbye to your baseball hero?
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This is really cool.
So
thanks.
Right on, man. Yeah, good luck to you, man. Keep playing.
You too.
Well, all right, brother. See you guys.
See you, Longo. Hey, everybody. Today's episode of the Rose Rotation sponsored by these guys at Shady Rays. I want you to take on the sun with gear that is built to last. Our friends here at Shady Rays, they have you covered with premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. Shady Rays offers world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair you've ever worn. They got durable frames, extremely clear optics. You look great, by the way. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in the history of eyewear. You've heard me talk about it. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. That means on day one, you purchase these bad boys, you sit on them in your car, you lose them in the ocean. They don't care. You call them up, you go, "Shady Rays, I broke my sunglasses." That's okay, Chris. We're not here to judge. We're here to send you a brand new pair. Really? You don't have any questions? No, we don't. We just want you to look great and be happy because we're sending you a brand new pair of Shady Rays. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. So head on over to shadyrays.com, use the code word ROSE for 50% off 2+ pair of polarized sunglasses. That is the code word ROSE for 50% off 2+ pair of polarized sunglasses. I guarantee you, you'll look like $1 million without paying it. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Any idea it was coming?
Kind of. When you started the show with it, that's when I figured it might happen. I messed up talking about how the Nikki Cass thing came together because completely different situation. But whatever. That's okay. You mess up sometimes.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm happy we could do that. We're like the Oprah show. We make dreams come true.
Yeah, that's right. You're just making it happen.
So how do you think Longo felt being compared to Nikki Cass, who, by the way, has 1.2 million TikTok followers?
Didn't love it. I didn't explain it very well, but that's okay. We'll get through it, and that's fine. Like, you can't be perfect every time you talk to somebody new. So we'll move on from it.
I love it. And for people that are listening, it is important to there. And I understand the line of demarcation here. Like, you are a professional athlete. You're trying to win a ball game. But man, I think it's so cool when guys are able to interact. And
well, it's just,
he had a big,
like, you just never know what the impact you make on somebody. Like, I'm still kind of learning that. I'm very green in my major league career, but like sometimes you get messages just like randomly if you throw somebody a ball in the crowd and how much it means to you or it means to them, or you sign something, or even just like something random, like you run hard on a play and you beat out a ball. Like some kid somewhere is watching that and it's like, oh, that was cool. Like to watch somebody hustle. Like apparently I was a narc as a kid. I think I've told you that, but like apparently that used to fire me up, is when people would run hard and beat something out, I would lose my mind, which is funny with how slow I am right now. But so it's just kind of cool to like see that happen. Like as a fan, that's really cool. As a player, it's like I have to like, navigate those waters in a different way than you can as a fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, tip of the cap to Mrs. Rose, my wonderful wife. She came up with the idea. She goes, why don't you try to get Longo on the show with him? So,
well, she's doing it all. Last time she found the Uncrustables. This time she gets Longoria. Another comparison he's not going to like. But hey, it's
true.
Can't win them all. I'm just going to stop making comparisons.
No, it's fine. I kind of like where you're going. I like where your head's at, kid. Speaking of it, did you ever find the Uncrustables?
Haven't been grocery shopping since we talked.
So what do you eat? What is in the fridge right now?
Wait, hold on. Apparently we're gluten-free in my household now. I just found this out the other day when I got home. I was told, hey, when we eat at home, we're gluten-free. So there are some gluten-free pretzels in there. There's some gluten-free, like they look like Pringles, but apparently they're gluten-free there and there. I crushed those the other night. That's really all that's in there. There's not much in the fridge because I pretty much eat at the stadium every day. So,
okay. Two things. One is this a dietary issue? Does somebody have maybe that's not a fair question. I shouldn't be getting into that. Or is this just a conscious choice that, hey, gluten's not great for you, let's try and stay clear?
The way it was described to me is that we're on a wedding diet. So that's what's going on, I think. Wedding's in December, so we're on a wedding diet now to I think it's to make sure I look tip-top shape because she looks great, like no issues, but I know I'm a little larger. I'm 250 some pounds. I could probably afford to get to like 240, 235. So maybe it's just a subliminal message being sent to me that, hey, for the wedding, like we're gonna have these pictures the rest of our lives. Might as well look really good in them. So maybe come wedding time, I'll be a smaller person.
This is a delicate situation though, because you don't want to lose that pop,
right.
during
as
the
long
season.
as long as the great thing about like the technology that we have now is you can see the data on like your strength and different things like that. So like I can monitor my strength levels, my muscle levels to make sure that they're where they need to be while also losing a few LBs. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I just, whatever.
Okay. I wish you luck with it. Listen, I'm a guy you saw me in person. It's not pretty. I'm a Dow Joneser. There's times I'm up, times I'm down. It's not easy. I've tried the gluten-free. I've tried the no carbs. I've tried it all. You just do what you do right now. You're burning enough calories at 25.
Yeah, but like the problem with gluten is, to be honest, I didn't know what gluten was. It just, people say it was described to me as some sort of wheat that, so I can't eat bread anymore, I don't think, according to this gluten-free diet.
Not true. There is gluten-free bread. There's gluten-free everything now. Gluten-free. You just have to go to
Whole Foods.
Yes. Whole paycheck. Yes, you have to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more expensive to eat healthier, huh?
It kind of sucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that does suck.
It really does. It really, really does. The Pasquatch thing has kind of taken on a life of its own since we last spoke.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. I didn't know that was going to happen with the Pasquatch roaming left field the way that he does. So it's good. That's a good incentive to try to get on base, is to keep that guy or girl. I don't know who the Pasquatch is. So other than that, it's me. Yeah. So I'm the Pasquatch, but there's somebody dressed up as a Sasquatch pretending to be a Pasquatch roaming the Hall of Fame roof whenever I get on base. So I try to get on base as much as possible. One, helps the team. Yeah. And two, keeps that person employed.
Well, see that you're trying to help the national economy.
Right. I'm just trying to help like me getting on base hurts no one. It's just getting on base.
Except the pitcher.
Yeah, but we're not teammates. We don't work for the same. We get paychecks from two different people. So
I'm curious. Do you try to make eye contact with Pasquatch when you hit a single or a double? Do you seek Pasquatch out?
To be completely honest, I've looked up there probably 5 or 6 times, but most of the time I'm trying to focus on the game, so to speak. I forget about it sometimes, where it's like, all right, what do I need to do here? So it's just, if I remember, I'll look up and be like, oh, that's cool. And actually, a lot of players have said stuff about it, like other teams, which is kind of cool, telling me that it's a cool thing. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I didn't know it was happening, but I appreciate that.
Who told you that?
A few guys for the Braves said something about it. I think a few guys from the Blue Jays said something. I forgot who we've played at home. The Rangers. Yeah. So it's cool, seeing other guys being like, oh, yeah, that's a cool thing. And then we just talk about it for a second at first, and then go back to business as usual.
Have you checked the calendar lately? Mother's Day is fast approaching. If you go, oh my God, I haven't gotten her anything yet. Don't worry. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds, it'll do all the work. Lightbox makes lab-grown diamonds that you will love with pricing that you certainly understand. They got everything from sparkly studs to brilliant necklaces. These gems will make her jaw drop. Whether it's for mama or for your spouse, getting her a stunning stone from Lightbox lab-grown diamonds, that is a guaranteed W out there. So this year, forget about the perfume. Forget about the flowers. Those are so cliche. I want you to become the MVP of Mother's Day with a gift that she will never forget. And I want you to save some money. Use the promo code ChrisRose10. Saying ChrisRose10, why? Because you're going to get 10% off your purchase. So shop Lightbox lab-grown diamonds. Use the code word ChrisRose10 for 10% off your purchase. Watch Mama smile on her special day. Is there somebody in particular you haven't even been in the show a year yet, but is there somebody that came to first base, or when you got on first base, that you were like, man, that was awesome. I got to talk to him and we had a really good conversation and that was fun. I always love it. Like Sean Casey's told me a gazillion stories of guys.
I think there's just so many, because I'm a pretty talkative person. So pretty much everybody that gets over there, we're talking about something. So I think they all just kind of run together though. Individual games, you kind of remember things, but as the season goes on, there's so many guys that get to first base and that you talk to, and you just little things too. that it's just kind of like everybody that gets over there, it's a kind of a new conversation, which is exciting. It's cool.
Got it.
But I prefer to
I'm
not have
just-
to talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gets on
Oh,
base.
well, of course. That would be wonderful. That would
Yeah.
would probably be historic at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
It'd be a good day. But then it's like also cool talking to first base coaches and umpires, like just getting to know people, I think is really cool. Like just those subtle little conversations of just talking to different people.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, the umpires are interesting. They're an interesting lot.
Yeah, they definitely are. That's for sure. So they're interesting to talk to, kind of see where their heads at. Yeah, my
It's
favorite
not always
is
in the game.
No, they do a pretty good job. My favorite question to always ask, and I ask it to every single umpire, every single check swing. I'm like, hey, what do you look for in a check swing? Because there isn't really like a full definition of what a check swing is. It's just kind of like that one is, that one isn't. So it's just kind of funny to see, not funny, but it's just interesting to hear what they say, because it's like there's a few different answers. Does the ball cross the plane? Do the hands break? Does the body go? There's a bunch of different things. And there is a definition of what a swing is, but there isn't really like hey, if the bat crosses home plate, that counts as a swing. If the hands snap, like, and the bat, moves forward, it's a swing. But it's always interesting to talk about that. And then the next thing we always talk about is how light colored bats are very easy to see compared to like black bats are harder to see, especially at night. It's harder to see a black bat at night. So sometimes guys might be on the side of no, he didn't swing because it's harder to see. And then if you have a light colored bat, you can see pretty much the whole bat the whole time. So even if you don't necessarily swing, it might look like you did because you can see more of the bat.
All right. This is all new to me.
Yeah, there's your fun fact of the day.
But you always come out with a bunch of fun facts.
Yeah,
we could almost do a Vinnie Pasquantino fun facts list.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, I feel good about that. I'm just noticing that I was peeking at the schedule while I was trying to figure out when you're playing my Cleveland Guardians. You don't play them until the last week of June for the first time.
Yeah, it's the balanced schedule is kind of crazy because you don't see some division opponents. Like we've only played the Twins in the division. And then we play the White Sox next week. Or by the time people are listening to this, probably the day of. Like if this is coming out next week, then it will be this week. But yeah, we don't really play like the division. It's so spread out now with the balanced schedule. It's crazy. And we go to the West Coast 5 separate times, which isn't as a big deal for us because we're in the middle of the country, so it's fine. But we went to San Fran, then we went to Texas, then back home. Then the last trip we went to LA, Arizona, Minnesota. Next trip we go Milwaukee, San Diego, Chicago, which that's an interesting one. And then we go to Oakland and then Seattle at one point. And then there's one other one where we go out west, but I can't remember it. There's another team out there. I just don't know who it is.
There's no Dodger trip this year. You said.
No Dodger trip.
We've already covered Oakland, San Francisco, San Diego, Anaheim.
Maybe it's only
Seattle.
4. Yeah, maybe it's only
That's
4 West Coast trips.
You don't have Colorado, do you?
No,
That's
they come to us. I didn't realize how close Colorado was to Kansas City, by the way. Like just geography wise, I had no idea that
very close.
If the divisions were to ever realign, we'd probably be in the same division as Colorado. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that'd be good for you.
Ryan's going on a run. She just got in front of the here. She's going on a run.
Hi, Ryan, with 2 ends.
Dog. Bear.
Okay.
There's Bear.
Awesome.
He's going on a run.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is he a good runner?
Pumped. Is he a good runner? Yes. No, he's not. But he tries.
Is he gluten-free?
No. Well, if there's gluten in dog food, then no. But if there is no gluten, then yes.
Don't know that.
But he does drink filtered water. So that's good for him.
I know. I do the same thing for my dog. Sometimes Michelle, like our non-filtered faucet is closer to the dog bowl. So sometimes she picks up the bowl and puts it in there. And I was like, no, give Sydney filtered water. She's like, what are you talking about? She's just happy. I said, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
That's our only daughter. We have two human.
Also, Sydney is an interesting name for a dog.
Well, okay. So do you know why we did this? First of all, we rescued her. It'll be 10 years ago this coming World Series. I was on the road covering the Red Sox Cardinals World Series. I came home and there's a dog in our house. And I love dogs, but I was, all right, so here we go. While Dad was away for almost 2 weeks, they got a dog. No big deal. We were not fortunate enough to have a daughter. But had we had a daughter, we would have named her either Sydney or Samantha. So we decided
that's perfect.
The
stories behind dogs' names are my favorite typically. Now, mine's not any good because it was his name when we rescued him. But that's an incredible reason to name your dog Sydney. So yeah, good for you guys.
Well, that was not her name when we rescued her. Her name was something else with an S, but we wanted to start fresh. And we don't know what happened to her. There must have been some crazy shit because she barks at any white van / truck, goes nuts. Other dogs, she has a major problem with, but with humans, she's wonderful. And any sort of delivery truck. So I don't know if her previous owners were delivery people that mistreated her.
Yeah, who knows?
But other than that, she's perfect.
Yeah,
she is perfect. That's my girl. That is my girl. Does your dog sleep on your bed?
Oh yeah. Which is actually something we taught him when we first got him. I was in Burlington, North Carolina, playing I was in rookie ball at the time, and we just went to the shelter, and we had this list of things we wanted in a dog, and somehow he matched every single one of them. So we really didn't have a choice. So when we got him, we brought him to the hotel, and he wouldn't get on furniture. And I was like, dude, you can come up on the bed, you can sit on the couch if you want. And he wouldn't do it. So then we had to put a chair next to it. And I basically was like, just climb up, you can do it. And then once we ruined that, now all he does is sit on furniture. So that's on us. That's really on me for making that happen. But yeah, he's got a permanent spot in the bed. He actually sleeps on a pillow too. So good for him.
I like the idea, but first of all, you are a big dude. Any extra source of heat on my body, no go.
Yeah, he gives off no heat, so that's good. Somehow he gives off negative heat. It's actually insane.
Negative heat.
Yeah.
Oh. So he's like an ice cube.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. One other thing before you go. The mask you guys have in the dugout is a little alarming. I am all for whatever we're doing in the dugouts these days. Plouffe has a little bit of an issue with it. I like it. That's fucking frightening. Got to be honest.
Yeah, so the story is actually really funny, and I don't know if he'll get mad at me for telling this story or not, but I'm going to because I think it's hilarious. Mostly because I disagreed with what he was trying to do. So it was our hitting coach, Alex Zumwalt, and he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. I love him. I guess it was after a tough streak that we had. I think we lost 4 or 5 in a row. So he was upset. You know how when you're losing, it just sucks. Everything sucks. I don't care what you say. Everything sucks. So I guess he was watching Gladiator, and I've seen the movie, but it's been so long. So I don't really know. But I guess the people in power didn't want the Gladiators to succeed or something. Mm-hmm. And he saw, we're a smaller market team. So he started kind of comparing us to them, of being nobody wants us to win, and my thing is I don't think they really care. If we win, good. If we lose, I don't think it's any skin off of the league's back. But so we talked about it. That's why I'm okay with sharing it. Cause I told him, I was I just think that's really funny. I appreciate you thinking about us, but I think that's funny. So he gets this mask. And I think the mask is cool. It's actually kind of heavy too. And it's a little terrifying. So it's a cool thing for the team. And, it gets everybody excited when somebody hits a homer, which is what it's really all about, is just to kind of be excited and just to celebrate with your teammates. So I think it's really cool. And again, I'd like to end that with, I love Alex Zumwalt. He's one of my favorites. I just think that story is really funny. And the mask is really cool and the team's buying in, and, hopefully it leads to more homers. I don't know if that's really motivation to hit more homers, but if it is, I hope it works.
Are we spraying disinfectant in it after everybody uses it? I'm a big clean freak.
I don't know. Maybe the sweat from everybody will get everybody going if it's not being disinfected. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But it's the first time I put it on. I had glasses on that day, and whoever put it on my head kind of slammed it on my head, and I think it cracked my glasses a little bit, which sucked. But hey, if that's what it takes to hit a homer, that's what it takes.
Do you pay attention to other teams' dugout celebrations? And if so, do you have one that you're like, oh, that's not bad?
It's really funny the things that you notice when you're on the field versus like what you notice from like social media. So the Angels, I don't know if they weren't the first one to have a dugout celebration, but like with that big samurai, I saw it all over social media, and it was like, this massive, massive deal. But when they hit homers against us, to be honest, I never noticed it. Just because I think it's just because I'm not paying attention to that kind of stuff. Like I'm just like, focused on the game, but it's funny. Like when you watch a game on TV, things are a very big deal that when you're at the stadium, like when you're in the game, aren't a big deal at all. So like, I don't even notice what goes on like over there at all. It's just kind of really funny. So like, I really liked the Braves one, like the big hat. I think the big hats are hilarious.
That's
so
out
like
now,
It's out now. So that sucks. But like, I guess like, shout out New Era. Like they make good hats. I like their hats. So, you got to do what you got to do. If you have a licensing agreement, you have a licensing agreement, I suppose. So,
yeah.
So the big hat is, I just think the big hats are hilarious. Like I always see videos of like the Savannah Bananas playing in big hats, and like I've never seen one, so I don't know how they work.
Oh,
but I think they're so funny. Like every time I see somebody with a big hat, like who wasn't it a guy for the Washington. The Commanders?
It was Brian Robinson, the running back.
Like when he was doing an interview in the hat, like I was just dying laughing because it's like,
funny.
What is this?
It's very funny. Yeah.
So like the big hat to me is the best.
Zoe and Jack Doyle from We Got Ice at John Boy Media, they brought the big hat to Blitzball.
Good.
Fun.
Good. I'm glad they did.
It was very, very fun. Yeah, no, it was nice. It was very fun. Oh, yeah, speaking of the Angels, Shohei shoved the day against you, didn't he?
Shohei Ohtani's a good player. He's a good player.
Come on, seriously. Can I tell you this? I know it sucks and it's hard to give guys credit, but in 25 years, you're going to be like, I was playing with the baddest motherfucker. I was playing against him at the same time.
It's just like insane when you think about, like, in baseball, it's hard. It's not necessarily hard to market, but like, I mean, you guys probably know from having a baseball-based company, like there's not but all that much money in baseball when it comes to like sponsorships and like stuff like that. And that guy has the ability to be and he is. I'm not saying he has the potential to be, because he is, but he is legitimately an international superstar. Like there was an ad for Japanese cat treats at Angels games. Like, you know how many people have to be watching Angels games from Japan for there to be Japanese cat treat ads? Like, it's insane. And the day that we faced Ohtani, all I got was questions about Ohtani from reporters. That was it. It wasn't what I think is really funny, and this happened in Japan too for the Classic, is people keep asking me what my approach is off of them. And it's like, first off, if I have a good one, I'm not telling you. Second off, I don't know if anybody other than, I don't know, Brent Rooker from this year who hit a homer off him, like maybe he's got the best approach off him. Like, what do? The guy throws 8 pitches successfully at any given time. His fastball is like his least used pitch, but it's 100. So it's just like, what do? You just try to fight. Like, that's an at-bat where you go up there and you fight. And I'm lucky enough that I got a hit off him somehow. And I also punched twice against him. But it's just like, there can't be enough good things said about how good he is and just kind of what he brings to the game. And I don't want to sound like, I don't want to get on a soapbox and just talk about Ohtani, but like what he does is just so special. It doesn't mean I'm any scared of him when I face him hitting or anything. It's just like, it's cool to like, see what he's able to do.
I have respect for the guy. That doesn't mean you're losing your edge against him. Shit, you have to. We have a hard time appreciating greatness. Like, I like it when guys say, yeah, you know what? He's a bad motherfucker. And
yeah, I think it's like cool
really
if you give a guy props. Like to me, like last week that happened to me when I tweeted out something about that pitch Zac Gallen threw me. Like some guys came up to me, not necessarily guys on my team, but just like friends or whatever, being like, "Man, why are you going to give that guy so much respect?" You know, like he threw a good pitch, he swung and missed, whatever. And it's like, because it was nasty. Like I don't care. I don't have that much of an ego where it's like if a guy gets you, he gets you, you know, tip your hat and you move on to the next one. Because the goal is I'm gonna get you next time and hopefully you respect that. You know, like it's a game of respect where like, yeah, I'm trying to win. But if you get me, good for you. Like I'm hoping you had to work for that. That's kind of my goal every time I go up there. So like I think it's cool when guys, you know, show respect to each other like that. And it's within a competitive environment. So sometimes those lines get blurred and that's fine. That's why we do it. But I just think it's, you know, I think it's fun when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. And all I ever hear is, I just love to compete. I love to compete. Well, sometimes you're not going to win. Like I haven't seen one team go perfect in a regular season in any sport in my lifetime. I haven't seen it. And like, I love the tradition. I was just watching Rangers Devils last night, game 7, game's over, shaking hands after beating the shit out of each other for 2.5 weeks. And they go through and they shake each other's hands and they hit each other on the shoulder and we're like, awesome.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Right. And then once the game's over, it's just like, all right, back to the drawing board if you don't win. It's just like, you know, just because you have a bad day statistically doesn't mean you had a bad day. That's what I think gets lost in everything.
I will say this. I think in baseball, the one thing we do during the Little League game that they play every August, you know, in Williamsport, they have the teams shake hands just like you do at the end of a Little League game. And while that might feel a little weird, we are the only sport out of the 4 major ones where guys don't shake hands after games or after a playoff series. You just go back down your tunnel and that's it. I'll see you next year. Like, I think it's cool when guys acknowledge one another. Like Tom Brady got shit when he didn't go shake Nick Foles' hand after the Eagles won Super Bowl 52. That was a big talking point because the quarterbacks are supposed to meet, be the leaders of their teams, and then go their opposite directions. I actually would love to see it. I know it's a little hard when you got guys jumping in the middle of a diamond celebrating a playoff series win, but I think it'd be kind of cool. It probably will never happen.
Even though I just talked about what I talked about, like I think I would hate that. Just because it's one of those things where it's like, you win, good for you, go celebrate. Like I don't need to be, I don't even know if people would look at it like this. I don't even know if I look at it like this. I'm just trying to rationalize in my head why I don't like it, even though I just basically said that I would like it. If I lose, I don't want to get in the way of your celebration. And if I win, it's like, I don't hate you, but I want to celebrate with my guys. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't know. I don't really have a good reason for not liking it. I enjoy that we don't have to do that because it's just one of those things. Like when I lose, I want to get that one off of me. I want to go shout, like, not that takes up any more time, but just like, you know, I don't want to see the guy that just kicked my ass.
I get it. And listen, I understand it. I'm just kind of talking out loud here. Not that I feel about it one way or another, but in no other sport do they pop champagne after winning a playoff series except for the end. Like, it's the number one question I get when I work at the NFL Network. All the players ask me, they're like, why do baseball players celebrate the way they do after winning a playoff series? And my question to them is, why don't you?
Right.
Like, that's a major accomplishment. To win a fucking playoff game is hard. To win every Sunday is hard.
Like, it's not broadcasted because it's not a big deal, but like most teams celebrate pretty heavily after winning a game in major leagues. Like, I'm not saying like popping champagne and stuff like that, but it's like, it's a celebration when you win. Like even teams that win 100 games, like they're celebrating after every win because it's a special thing to do. And I think that they're trying to show people, like, because in the minor leagues, you don't really celebrate when you win, but in the big leagues, when you win, you celebrate. And it's just kind of showing that guys don't take this for granted because winning's really hard. So when you do it, you should, you know, have a good time. And it's not like guys aren't getting hammered after wins and stuff like that, but it's just more just like the team gets together, has a moment, celebrates it, gets some music going, and just has a good time. Because there's nothing worse than being in a quiet clubhouse after a loss. Like it sucks.
Oh yeah.
And we're feeling that a little bit harder right now than, you know, some other teams. But like it sucks. And you don't want to feel that way. So then when you get that winning feeling, like it feels so good to be able to celebrate with your guys.
Is Greinke in the middle of the mosh pit?
All the time. No, I always joke with him in the dugout about him getting fired up. Like, it's funny. Like, I always high five him after I hit a homer, just for fun.
Does he leave you hanging, or does he high five?
No, he gives it back. He gives it back. It's a good time.
Okay. All right, now we're really done. But how do you finish your meal when you go out? Do you order something to, like, dessert?
Oh, yeah, but it's got to be gluten-free now.
Well, guess what Michelle Rose just brought up to me.
Oh my gosh.
For people that are audio only, I'm holding up gluten-free Oreos that she found at the store the other day.
I'm going to have to get those. I'm going to have to absolutely get those. But first, before I leave, are you going to ask me any baseball questions today?
We talked about baseball. Wait, is there something I missed that I should have asked you?
No, I just,
I talked to you about some baseball stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What do we got going?
I mean, I'm free all day. I don't have to play anybody tonight.
Yeah, we've got Baltimore tonight.
Oh,
so we've got Baltimore, and then Oakland, and then Chicago. So we're excited.
Here's one thing that's interesting. You mentioned Chicago. So when this podcast does come out next week, you're very good at this. You will be playing the White Sox. It's a 4-game series. So you are most likely going to face another Rose rotation co-host.
Yeah, Giolito, right?
Giolito. How do I deal with this?
Well, he owns me, first off, so I got to really work on that. I got to really lock in against him. I remember when I've only faced him once, so me saying he owns me is probably a little bit premature. But I remember my first at bat, he struck me out with a changeup. I think he struck me out twice with changeups. But the first one, I swear it was down. Like, I could have sworn it was down. And I go back and check it, and it was like not even close to being down. So that's where I was that day. It was a tough day. I'm excited to hopefully face him next week and hopefully get some better things going off of him. And I know that I saw that he practices in MLB The Show. So maybe I'll use myself and hit against him in MLB The Show and see what happens.
This would be fun. Why don't you guys throw on your headsets and set it up where you can play against one another the night before you face each other? Yeah. You'll be you, and he'll be him. And that way I don't have to deal with the conflict of having to root for both of you at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't want to get into the mindset of a pitcher because those guys only get to play once a week pretty much. So, like, I don't know how willing he would be to but his interviews are good. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know him at all. But seems like a good dude. So that's what I got on.
He is a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's very smart. He's a thinker. And his on-air delivery is very different than yours, right? You've got the big accent, the big excitement and everything. And Lucas is such a thinker.
Yeah.
And then he starts going.
Yeah. Yeah. How's since you talked to some more veteran pitchers, especially, how's the pitch clock going?
Most of them like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So out of the guys we have on the show, well, Hedges, let's start position players. Okay. Hedges, who's kind of caught in between as both a hitter and a catcher, loves it.
Do you think there's any surprise, because I don't, that he goes to Pittsburgh and all of a sudden they're having a renaissance year? Because that surprises me none.
I think what it does is it proves to front offices they have got to open their eyes. And listen, Hedgie and I talked a lot about it, that he doesn't like going up there and seeing 175 on the scoreboard, what he's hitting. Like, he doesn't like that. He's embarrassed by it. But he has never had a bad day. Like, he loves going there, and he's like, my job is to earn our pitchers as much money as they can have. And if I do my job like that, then I'm going to have a job in this sport for a long time. People have got to understand that there's value in what he brings to a team. And it can't be stats. It can't always be stat, even though he's a wonderful pitch framer and great at blocking balls and all that sort of stuff. That's really important. But for him to be able to dial in a pitching staff and deal with different personalities, and you're right, it doesn't surprise me. There was a great write-up on him on MLB.com and what he brings.
Yeah, well, I think that kind of leads me to a point, and I know we were talking about something else, but I think the game is so analytical now that situations like don't matter anymore in the eyes of like some people. But there are like, he's a perfect example of just like when you're hitting, when he's catching, it could, he's with you. Like he knows what you're looking for. It feels like at least, but then there's like little things like especially when you're talking about hitting, when you look at like OPS plus, WRC plus, like some of that gets thrown out the window. Like if you hit a sac fly, that does nothing for your WRC plus or OPS plus. It actually hurts it because you flew out, and it hurts your on base percentage, even though you have an RBI. But like that helps. Like it's just a funny game with all the analytics that are being thrown out there now. And I'm not saying I don't look at them, because I understand them and I understand how they help and how they work. But it's just like sometimes you just got to go be a baseball player, and that's something I think he does really well. And I think it helps teams when guys go out there and are just like, hey, like, yes, at the end of the day, you'd like to make a ton of money and play for a really long time. But like I don't know too many like former players, but the ones that I do know, like it hurts when they don't win. Like it hurts if you don't have a World Series ring at the end of your career, or like that you never made a World Series or made the playoffs or anything, even if you made a ton of money. Because like you play to win. Like you grow up as a kid, you play to win. Then you get there and all of a sudden it's like, all right, how can I make the most money? Which is great. Like I'm not saying guys shouldn't make the most money. But also there's some of that in there where it's like, sometimes there's got to be a little FU in there where it's just like, I'm getting this job done. And it's like, I'm going to score a run for the team, or I'm going to get a guy over. I'm going to get on base, something like that.
It's all important. That's why I still don't understand people who argue against RBI as a stat. They say because it's the other people, the person that scores the run, that did all the heavy lifting. I still think there's an art to being able to ground out to second, particularly with the way that strikeouts have been over the last decade, right? Mm-hmm. If there's a runner at third and you're hitting third on a given day and it's 0-0 in the first, I know you're trying to drive the ball, but shit, if you hit a ground ball and you give your team a 1-0 lead, I still think that's okay.
Well, if you look at my season that I'm having right now, just like personally, I haven't hit that well with runners in scoring position. And I think it's sometimes because I get up there and I get too aggressive, where it's just like, I want to get this done so bad that I throw everything out the window of just trying to make it happen. And I think that could be a problem with what we're doing as a whole. Like we want to score runs so bad that we're actually hurting ourselves from scoring runs because we're like doing too much. Like you watch, I like to watch other guys hit especially when I'm in the field and like see what their approach is and stuff. And you see, especially from like older or like veteran guys, when guys are on base, like they almost get more patient, where it's just like, I know what I need to do. I'm going to figure out how to do it. Like, I'm not going to force it, but I'm going to make it happen.
I do want to talk one more baseball thing. You don't have to run to the ballpark yet, do you?
No, not yet.
Okay. Did you ever play in the high school playoffs? You must have.
Yep.
Okay. So our school, Brady's school, made it for the first time in a dozen years. Mm-hmm. Our program was really bad for the last couple of years. We 7 total wins his freshman and sophomore year. And now junior year, they're making it. Like they're in the baseball playoffs, which is awesome. I'm very excited for them. What's the best advice you can give players and parents who are participating for the first time at this level?
I think sometimes it's harder on parents, especially, than it is on the players. For the players, I would say change nothing. What got you there is what's going to get you to the next level too, or to the next stage of the playoffs. Just be a good player, be a good teammate. But for the parents, I think it's just like, hey, you can't control anything, so don't put any extra pressure on your kids because they're going to feel it. Like, yeah, even though like sometimes you think as a parent that your kids don't listen to you, they listen to you way more than you think. And sometimes when you're venting about what's going on in the games, it puts a little bit added pressure on your kids. So I would just say, enjoy the ride. Enjoy that they're in the playoffs and let them make their own fortune, so to speak. If they're going to make it, they'll make it happen. If they're not, they're going to still wake up tomorrow. And we're going to move on.
Good call. Did you win any state championship or anything?
No, a teammate of mine, Nate Eaton, made that on
Oh, right.
yeah, he's gone viral now for pitching against Texas and how nasty it was. And yeah, there's more in that tank. And he showed that to my high school team in high school. But cool moment though, yesterday against the Twins, Josh Winder, who I went to high school with, I got to face him. I think it was my third at bat against him in the big leagues. So it was cool to face a guy that you went to high school with.
He was your teammate in high school?
Mm-hmm. He was a junior when I was a sophomore, senior when I was a junior. There was actually a first rounder on that team too. His name is Griffin Roberts. He was with the Cardinals. But it's Josh in the division, so it's cool that I get to face him every once in a while.
Freaking awesome, man. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. My high school's got a pretty good lineage of guys playing professional baseball. No big leaguers other than Josh and I at this time, but there have been a lot of guys that have been up and down through the minor league system. Yeah, there we go. Nice little blooper. I've never hit the ball hard off him. He gets me to swing in this changeup every time. And yesterday I knew I was going to swing at it. So I said, all right, I'm not grounding out. I got to make sure I get under it. And it worked.
I was watching this game, actually. I saw that hit.
Yeah, I smacked it. No. Smacked it like 65 miles an hour, I think.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, they play you where you're going to hit the ball hard, not where you're going to hit it soft. So if you hit it soft, sometimes it's a hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to have touch as well.
They know where you hit the ball hard. They're just going to stand there.
Right. Well, listen, I could talk to you for hours. I love chopping it up with you. That's why we FaceTime like once a week.
Yeah, right back at you. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Rob.
Are you tempted to hit decline when I FaceTime you sometimes?
No. No.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. JETS, Jets.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a lot more about that as we get to training camp and when Rodgers starts not showing up to voluntary minicamp.
That's fine. Can he throw the rock to open receivers? We know he can. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Good luck the next few weeks. Take a picture of you wearing the Rose t-shirt in the clubhouse if you want to. That's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Go get yourself some Uncrustables, some gluten-free Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
We're helping the diet. Go mash some homers. And we'll catch up in a few weeks. And who knows who will surprise you then.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks, Chris. Love you, Rob. See you guys later.
You got it. Have a good day. For the one and only Robbie Scirocco and Vinnie Pasquantino, I am Chris Rose. We will see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.